So we're going to return to the Ashes. Steve Harmison, double Ashes winner, joined John Norman on a Following On podcast to look back on a pretty incredible first day at the Ashes. Australia closing 123 for 9 in response to England's 172 all out. This is what Harmy had to say on the day's play.
People set their alarms at 2 o'clock in the morning, so I didn't go to bed. I stayed up, and it was one of them ones where normally you get a lull in the sort of afternoon period where if you have stayed up all night, you're sort of nodding off. You've got the nodding dog on, and similar if you're getting up, you're really, really tired. At not one point did I feel as though I was going to fall asleep. Not one point did I feel as though the game was starting to sort of meander. It was absolutely gripping from literally the first ball to the last ball, the wicket of Zach Crawley to the wicket of Scott Boland. So from that point of view, no, I don't think we've seen too many Ashes days like that, never mind the first day.
There you are, Steve Harmison.
It was incredible.
It was. Let's get the thoughts of England Ashes batsman Mark Butcher. Good afternoon, Butch.
Afternoon, gents. How are you?
It was just
What's happened to batting, Butch?
It was just nuts, wasn't it?
Oh, man. Well, listen, I thought in the lead up to it that the game would be low scoring and that it might be a quick game. I didn't think it'd be quite as quick or as low scoring as this. From the very beginning, sort of England deciding to go in with the 5 quicks, I kind of felt in the lead up to it that the lower order, scoring a few runs down at the bottom of the order might end up making more of a difference than having the extra quick bowler. Because, if 4 fast bowlers can't bowl a team out on a flyer, then 5 won't make a massive amount of difference. So, I mean, at the moment, England are perfect. They've picked 5. They've got Australia 9 down. They've got a lead of 50. And they're in the box seat, really. I mean, a lead of 50 in a game like this would be absolute gold dust. If they mop the things up tomorrow morning, they're in a great position. They have to go out and bat against Stark and those boys again. I mean, thank goodness Cummins and Hazelwood aren't playing on that pitch, but they've got an incredible chance to take a 1-0 lead in this series.
The way Stokes used himself was really interesting, I thought, because that's why he's Ben Stokes. Because I'm thinking the trouble with having 4 bowlers is Stokes isn't bowling when he should be bowling. He's waiting for these 4, but actually it worked in his favour as usual, and he managed to get a 5 in about 10 minutes. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 in 6 overs. Yeah. I mean, there's the choice you make if he's the captain. Had he not had another fast bowler in there, he might have bowled earlier, and who knows? They might have been batting before the close. But the decisions they've made, they'll stand by, and at the moment they're in a fantastic position. What is not up for debate is that. You had the feeling before this series started that pretty much anything could happen. I refuse to give a prediction for the series because I honestly don't know. I cannot tell you. There is so much potency in England's bowlers, and they've got so many match winners with the bat. I mean, Brooks 50 in almost even time was incredible. Smith making 33 off 22 could be pivotal. I mean, we're talking about tiny little scores here, but when the scores overall are so low, they could make a massive difference. So, England are very, very capable of causing a massive upset here. And what a place it would be to start in the first one.
A couple of things from the batting. First, Zach Crawley getting out as Zach Crawley often gets out. And
was anybody surprised at that?
I mean, we're kind of joking about it because it ultimately may not matter, but it is a concern, isn't it? I mean, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy now, and obviously they bowl to him like that, and they expect him to do what he does.
Well, yeah, I've kind of given up debating Zach Crawley's sort of either his position in the team or his style of play or whatever, because it makes no difference. He gets picked, he plays. And who knows, he might go out there and blaze a quick 40 or 50 in the second innings and give England a huge buffer towards winning the test match, in which case he plays in the next one. So it's become their backing of him has made all discussion around the way he plays, the way he gets out, how many runs he scores, how many runs he doesn't score. It makes it completely superfluous, really. There's no point in discussing it.
No, they're going to.
So they will pick him. And honestly, if they go 1-0 up in the series, they won't see a need to change a thing.
And there'll probably be a game where him and Duckett put on about 200 or something.
Yeah,
the
that's
difference.
True.
But what I was fascinated by was the different approach that each team had to batting. England ridiculously turned out in 32 overs, but when Smith and Labuschagne were there, they looked like they were doing proper Test match batting, but that didn't work either.
No, I mean, and again, I think that's the calculation that Stokes and McCullum make particularly on pitches like this. You know, they're not all going to be like this. Brisbane might be spicy because of the day-night and the pink ball nature of the second test. But in these games whereby you've got a ball with your name on it at some point, you know, where the bowlers are going to be very much on top. England's approach is as good as any. You know, it's just sitting there and not moving the scoreboard forward might look nice, and you might sort of get out in a more palatable way for people. But the fact of the matter is, you've got out and you haven't scored any runs. So the game, you haven't helped your team in any way by sticking around longer and blocking it. So I think this is what makes England such a dangerous team, particularly if the pitches have got lots of spice in them, because their bowlers are incredible. You know, I really wouldn't have fancied batting out there today, especially not at 53.
Well, you're not far off Khawaja. Really.
It was relentless pace and bounce and movement. And you know, so when you have that in your locker as your bowling attack, it makes you very, very dangerous when the game is accelerated to the extent that it is at the moment.
Oh, you mentioned your age there, Butch. I mean, 30, was he 39, Khawaja, isn't he? And there was a bit of a feeling, some of the Aussie pundits saying afterwards, maybe this feels like a test too far. He's never great against pace, and he kind of showed his age, everything that went on around being timed out. I mean, you wonder, depending on what happens in this test, and let's hope England go all the way and win it, whether the Aussie selectors will be looking at a couple of changes.
But maybe. I mean, it's possible. I think they might look at the Perth test in particular on this surface as a bit of an outlier. But yeah, I mean, they've been very reticent to sort of bring in the new players anyway. I mean, you know, they gave Weatherald a debut, and they had to be sort of coaxed into doing that. So I think the feeling is that they don't necessarily have a massive amount of trust in the guys who are coming up behind them. Constas would have been an interesting player on this pitch, because he's a guy who plays like Brook and Crawley, comes out and tries to smoke it from ball one. And again, on a low-scoring game, somebody comes off for 30 or 40 balls, and that can be the difference between winning or losing the test. So, you know, maybe that would have been a better option for them. But let's wait and see what happens at the end of the game.
Yeah. Butch, good to talk to you as always. Appreciate your time. Thanks very much. That's Mark Butcher there, the former England batsman. I suppose
it's completely unpredictable.
It is.
Absolutely no idea how it's going to go, this test.
Because depending on if England are batting within half an hour, 20 minutes tomorrow, they could put on a lot of runs quite quickly. But then Australia would have 2.5 days to grind it out in the way they'd like to, wouldn't they? Maybe. If the pitch flattens out a bit. I don't know. True. Who knows?
No, that's what makes
it. Should be fascinating.
Yeah.